Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at Dice Miner from Atlas Games. This is the retail version of it. I do have some extras that I printed myself to kind of bring it up to par with the deluxe version, but not a whole lot of difference between the two. I'll tell you the differences as we go through. But anyway, we're going to get in and take a look. So first thing we have in here is our guide to mining. This is basically our rule book. It explains the story that's going on in the game, your component overview, all your different dice and cards, setup, how to set up the mountain, and then there's a couple pages of the actual gameplay, the different phases, and that's it right there. So it's pretty much 4 pages of the rules. And then the victory on the bottom here, and I think, yep, on the back is just credits. Then we have our solo player rules, and they're just a single sheet, front and back. I've not actually played the solo player yet. I need to check that out at some point. Now here's where we get into the stuff that's a little bit different. So the base game comes with this cardboard mountain. You punch it out. This folds like this. This part stays together once you fold it and put it in. This hooks onto here. And then for some unknown reason, they made the box just a hair too small to put this in. It sticks up over the lip. You can't get the box closed. So you got to take that apart every time. It's rather frustrating, but it does the job. The deluxe version came with a really nice plastic mountain. I found the piles and 3D printed one myself. And this serves the same purpose. In the deluxe version, the box is bigger, so this actually fits in there. So sadly, it does not fit in the normal version here. Possibly if you took everything out, I think it's short enough now. I think it still sticks up just over the lip of the box. But it's a lot closer to fitting in there. But we use that one most of the time when we play. But that's, again, something we made ourselves. The deluxe version did come with a similar mountain now. Then more recently, I found this little economy version of the mountain. Doesn't use nearly as much plastic. Doesn't have all the extra rocks around it. Things doesn't look quite as nice. I haven't painted this one, but this does fit in the box. It's nice, low profile, so it's portable and goes with it. It stands up. Does the same function as the other ones. So that's pretty cool. I like that one. I've been keeping that in the box, but I still tend to use the bigger one just because it looks nicer. As for what else is in here, we have our score pads. And you can see we even got some scores on there because I didn't rip off the last one. But they have the normal mode on one side for scoring and the solo mode on the back. You get a nice pad of those. We also use multiple times per pad. I have a friend who actually laminated theirs and uses a dry erase marker so they can keep reusing them. That's a cool idea. The base game comes with 6 playable characters. And each one of these, they're all upside down. Each one of these has a name, some unique artwork, and some bonus skills that they give you on the bottom here. These are all the same on the back. They're randomly dealt out face down. And like I said, there's 6 different unique ones that come in the base game. The collector's edition came with, I think it was 12, and they do have the files online for you to print out. However, the ones that you print out obviously are going to be different. I have mine on magic cards actually. But I printed out the 6 new ones as well as the 6 original, so they all match. And now we can shuffle these up and use all of the characters. So that's one of the main differences between the retail and the deluxe version are the 6 extra characters, though you can find these to print out online for free too. I also printed out these little cheat sheets for myself. I need to put it back on them though because they're super thin. But they explain basically what each dice are and how you score with them. Those are something I made myself. Also a pencil. I don't think the game came with one, but everybody has one of them laying around. And the last thing in the box here is the bag of dice. This insert is pretty much useless. I'm actually going to take it out and hopefully make a little bit extra room in there. The dice themselves are the same number in the deluxe set. However, they are slightly different looking. I think there's like a marble texture on most of them. So no big deal as far as that goes between the deluxe and the base set. You have your black dice, which are hazards. You have caverns, which deal damage to you based on the number of falling rocks on them. They also have dragons. And again, they deal damage based on the number of dragons shown. Black dice are the only ones that cannot be re-rolled. So you get stuck with what you get of those. Next we have these dice, which are the magic dice. And these allow you to re-roll dice equal to the number of symbols on there. The catch is you have to re-roll exactly that amount. So if you use this, you would have to re-roll 2 dice. You can't just re-roll 1. The single one re-rolls 1, that re-rolls 2, and that re-rolls 3, but you have to use all 3. Those are cool for kind of manipulating what you get. Next ones are the green dice. These are the utility dice. And these have a couple interesting things on them. You have the pickaxes. And what they do is they turn the cave-ins from negative points into positive points. So this would be -2. If you have at least one of these, it's +2. If you have multiples, they multiply. So in this case, you would have 2 rocks times 2. You'd have 4 points there. And that can get exponential based on how many you have of each. So it's an interesting combo you can build up there. They do the same thing with the dragons. They have a shield icon somewhere. And the shield icons do the same thing with the dragons. So -2 points for a dragon, +2 points for a dragon and a shield, and then multiplied from there on depending on how many of those you have. The other option on the dice are these treasure chests, and they allow you at the end of the round, you're going to re-roll all the dice in your pool. They allow you to pick and choose some dice that you want to keep. So maybe you had a nice straight going with these ones, which we'll get to in a minute. You can save those dice, or maybe you have a innate pickaxes or whatever, and you can save some of your black dice there, the hazard dice, as the facing you want. Those ones are kind of cool. Aren't very many of them though. I think there's only 7 in the whole set here. Next up we have our gem dice. And these are literally just points. You got 1, 2, and 3 on them in various combinations. I think there's 3 1s, a 2, a 3, and then the beer steins, which we'll get to. Every die has a beer stein on it. And these are basically just points at the end of the round. The person who has the most gems doubles their amount. So here you got 6. If that was the most, you'd end up with 12 points for it. So that's kind of cool. There are characters that have free gems on their cards as well. So you add those in. But yeah, just a way to score extra points. And if you can stockpile a bunch of those, you can score a bunch every time. And then the majority of the dice are just your basic D6s here. And they are numbered 1 through 5. And the idea of these is you want to get them in straights. So each set of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is worth 15 points. And the way you do that is you add up the number of pips on there. And I flipped that over when I picked it up. So a 1 is worth 1 point. A 1 and a 2 is worth 3 points. A 1, 2, and a 3 is worth 5 points. Did I do that right? No, 6 points. I can't add. 10 points and then 15 points. The catch is they have to be in a straight. So if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 is worth nothing without the 1 to set it off. You can have multiples going, so you could have a 1, 2. You could have a full straight going here. You could have a 1 and 2. You could also have a 1, 2, and a 3 going. As I put them off camera. So you could score with each of those. And again, you would score all the points listed. But again, if you had a 3, 4, 5, well, about this here, that would score nothing on its own. You would have to combine it. So basically, you drop the 3, you put the 4 and 5 there, and so on. So those are kind of cool to keep. And if you get the chests, I like to keep a straight of those going because it's guaranteed points for the next round. That's a look at all the components that come in here. The gameplay itself is pretty simple. I'm not going to do a whole how to play, but basically you're going to have all your dice in this bag. They're going to be mixed up, because of course they're all in order right now. And then you're going to dump a bunch on this mountain. Like so. On each player's turn, they're going to take turns taking a die from the mountain by mining it. The way the standard mining goes is that you have to take something that you can lift off the top. So in the first time, you're only going to be able to choose one of these two. You pull that off, now they can choose between these two. You pull that off, now you get to choose between these 3, and so on as the mountain gets mined down. You keep your items on the face that you take. So in this case, you would keep that as a gem. And so on as you mine your way down. You're going to be collecting up a series of dice that you're going to be using to score at the end. So we've got 2 of these. We've got a pickaxe now. So ideally we would want this cave in here if we could get to it. And things like that. You're trying to build up combos. Rerolls will allow you to reroll things that you don't need. And so on. If you get a beer stein in your turn, instead of taking your normal die from the mountain, you can buy someone else a beer and you give them that die. In doing so, they get to roll that die and they keep whatever face comes up and add it to their pool. But the trade-off is now you get to pick 2 dice, and you aren't just limited to the ones that you can lift straight off the top. You can take them anywhere where you can get them out the side. So you can drag them diagonal out the side. So if, for instance, we wanted this beer stein here, we could steal this. And the things slide down into place. If, say, we needed a 1 to complete our thing, we could take this 1. And then, again, they slide down into place. Now we got another beer stein, which we can do it again later, and a 1 to possibly complete some points that we had going. And that's pretty much how the game works. You take one, you pass this to the next person, they take one, it goes around until the entire mountain is clear. When the mountain is clear of dice, then you're going to go through a round of adjusting the dice that you have. So the first thing you do is any of these magic dice that you have are going to allow you to reroll. So say you had, a 1, a 3, and a 5 here. That's not going to score anything. So ideally, you want to roll and try to get maybe a 2 on this. But again, we've got 3 rerolls on that, so we would have to roll 3 dice at a time. Oh, you can't reroll that, sorry. And so on. There's different stipulations you got to apply. But once you've done all that, then you're going to go through and score all your points for the pips on your dice, for the hazards that are shown on your dice, whether they're countered or not, for the gems you have, and of course the bonus for whoever has the most gems. When all that's done, you tally it up on the paper for the round of who scored what. And then you're going to take all of your dice, unless you use the chest to save a couple. In that case, you would set them aside, but you still reroll the chest die. But you're going to take all your dice, you're going to reroll them. The faces that they come up are what you've got to work with for the next round. These will get set aside. This will get refilled all the way up, and you do another round. You're going to do that 3 times, and whoever has the highest score at the end is the winner. The cool thing is, since you keep your dice between rounds, they're going to multiply how much you have, and then all your modifiers and scoring are also going to multiply as the game progresses. So you're going to get more and more of these black dice. So you're going to want more and more of the symbols to counter. You're going to have more and more gems. Hopefully you'll have the highest total so you can get the multiplier to double them. You're going to get more and more of these white dice, which hopefully you can use to make straights to get more and more points. And yeah, it just goes exponentially. Like I said, there's 3 rounds of that. Whoever has the total at the end is the winner. And that's pretty much all there is to Dice Miner. It's a fairly simple game, pretty easy to understand rules. It takes you a round or two to figure out what you want to grab and what you should grab off the mountain. But once you get the hang of it, it goes really quick. It's a quick and easy learn game. Takes a little bit of strategy to do pretty well on it, but even a novice can hold their own if they grasp the concepts quick enough. Overall, I think it's a great little game. I don't think you're missing out too much by not getting the deluxe set. Like I said, the upgraded dice, I actually prefer the basic dice because the upgraded ones have these weird textures to them and actually makes it so if you've played enough times, when you put your hand in the bag here to grab dice, you can literally feel what a die is and know what you're grabbing out of the bag. Not that it matters because, like I said, you're just dumping them on the mountain here. The one thing I will point out, and this is the base mountain, it also happens with the one that comes in the deluxe set. There's an extra row on the outside here, and this is meant for when you use the buy a drink thing so you can slide things to the side. But when you fill up the mountain, you do not fill that extra row. These here do not belong here. There's actually a little line here, and this line is the maximum fill. So you only go to there, not to there. Same thing goes for the larger mountain. You go to there, you do not put the extra die on the outside. That, like I said, that's literally so you can slide the dice out the side. I see a lot of people who don't understand that in their first time through. They put too many dice on there, and then when you get to the final round, you actually don't have enough to finish the game. But yeah, that's a look at Dice Miner. I think it's a great little game. It's easy to learn, fun to play, and it's good for both beginners and experienced players. That's going to wrap it up for our look at Dice Miner. I hope it helps you decide if it is something for you. And if it is, definitely check it out. Like I said, the only thing you're really missing out on by not getting the deluxe version is those extra cards, which are free to download, and you just make your own. So, not a huge loss there. The plastic mountain's kind of hit or miss. You can print your own. Just keep in mind it's probably not going to fit in the box unless you get something small like this one. That said, as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.